G'day guys, how you going? It's Laz here, and right there in that picture, that's what I've made. It is still aging at this point. However, I'll go through the steps on how I achieved the end product. So I've basically put these in a pot overnight to let them just soak into the water, give me some nice flavours, and as you see, I'm just washing them down to get a little bit more out of them. Then tipped it up into me boiler. It's only a small one, I don't do very much. This is actually one of the first times I've actually done a boil like this with the grains and then the late addition hops and everything like that. Of course, you've got to sanitize everything. If you don't sanitize it properly, you get infections in your beer, and I'll tell you what, I've had a pretty bad problem with that of late. So here I'm using the Mangrove Jack's Citra pellets, and I'm putting them in as a bittering, and I'm also going with the late addition of the Galaxy hops, and I also will be dry hopping on day 4 or 5 with those. I'm using the Safe Ale SO4 for my yeast, and yeah, so there we go. So I dropped in it's got the boil, so I had the boil up. I let it boil for around about 10 minutes, and then I dropped in my first addition, which was my Citra hops. And as you'll see in a minute, I failed a little bit. I probably should have removed the pot off the heat, as we have a bit of a boil over nearly. I managed to just stop it from going over, but like I said, I've never done this before, so I have watched a few videos, and I just didn't really pay much attention. But we got all that in. What I did was I did half the hop pellets at the 10-minute mark. I then boiled for another 40 minutes. And then from there, I added the last lot of hop addition, which you can see here. I've actually taken it off the stove this time to stop that from boiling over. And then I boiled this for a further 10 minutes. I got it back up to the boil. Excuse me. I probably could have done with them a little bit later. That was a little bit bitter to my liking, but it still came out quite nice. So I bring it back to the boil here, and then at the end of the boil, I do I don't know what you call it, but basically a burn off or a zero timer. I don't know. I took it off the heat, and then I chucked in my Galaxy hops, and then I let that sit in there in that cool water and just cool down. I steeped it for around about 15 minutes. About 15 minutes. In the meantime, as you'll see, I'll put it in here. The video will cut out shortly because I ran out of battery, and you don't really need to see me filling it up and so on and putting the yeast in and everything like that. But give it a bit of a stir, and then I get all the rest of the ingredients into the fermenter, which isn't too bad. It didn't take too long all in all, so it was an hour boil, probably about 15 minutes steep, an hour and 15 minutes, so it wasn't too bad. It was reasonably quicker than what I thought it was going to be. Like I've seen people do this stuff for like a couple of hours, and some people anyways. But yeah, so I just wanted to get all the flavour out of these, popped it all in. I did take a reading. It came out at 1046, I believe. I've got a little app here on my phone that I track all my brews. It's called Brew Tracker. I pop everything into there. This was the most tedious part of it. It was like trying to get all the goodness in that bowl there, and it was very, very annoying getting it out there. Where do we got here? So I'll quickly bash off some numbers. It was 1041. The final gravity was 1014, which gave me a ABV of 3.544. So it was a light beer. It's still very tasty. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite great. I do have a tasting up after this, so I've tried to do it all as one big video, so no splits. So we'll see that in a sec. All right, guys, cheers. It's going to be a quick one because just interested to see what it's going to be like. Head's a bit average on this one. I've had one of these the other day. I actually had one. It was actually really nice. There, it was quite a thick, creamy head on it. This one's kind of died off. Can't really see that, but it's not real ambery at all. Well, it's kind of a little bit ambery. It's a bit darker than what I was going for. Oh, there you go. The head's starting to come through on it now. Definitely smells Citra. Coming through quite strong. As you know, I use that to bitter, and I used the Galaxy at the end of the boil the aroma and the taste. Also dry hopped at day 4 or 5 with they're giving me heaps of shit. Also dry hopped at day 4 for about 3 or 4 days with the Galaxy as well. So as you can see, the head's come up quite nice on it. It is ambery, it's a bit darker than a normal amber ale, I think, but yeah. I'm getting a bit of passion fruit through it. Let's give it a go. It's not too bitter. Got a little bit of a kick in the back of your throat. Then that just mellows out and you just got a real like fruity flavour. It's actually quite nice. I like my beer quite carbonated too. It's got very good lacing in that as well. So it's come up quite well. This is actually one of my first beers that I've actually done like that with grain and hopping. I never usually hop my beers. I'm usually just a kilo kind of guy, and they tend to not work for me either. So this is it's a good surprise to actually have a beer that's drinkable, quite nice in taste. Came out a lot weaker than what I was expecting. I didn't brew all the way up, so it only came out about just under 4%. I think it was like 3.9 or something like 3.976 or whatever. But it tastes good. It's got a bit of alcohol in it. Tastes good. That's what you want. I actually really like that, and the flavour really lingers in your mouth afterwards, which is good too. So I'll definitely try and make something similar to this again. It's quite nice. I didn't mind it. Also just bottled a cider. It was a Mangrove Jack's premium cider. It's a mixed berry one, so I've just bottled that. So probably about 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. I'll do a review on that one as well. Yeah, it's quite nice. Also got a dark ale that I did a while back, and that kind of came out quite bitter, but mellowed out a lot. It's actually quite nice, and you get real strong chocolate flavours through it, which is great. But yeah, there you go. That's my first beer review of my homebrew, and I kind of like it. If you guys are keen to see more of these videos of me making stuff, I've also got a mead on the way too, so I'm making that soon. So I'll be making a mead soon as well. But if you guys are keen, like I said, this is the Laz Let Loose channel, so I'd basically do anything and everything on this channel. From doing this, fishing, whatever, we're on it. Yeah, let us know if you want to see some more videos like this, more reviews, beer reviews, anything like that, more homebrew stuff, let us know in the comments. So yeah, if anyone has any idea on what this would be called, I was gonna call it like something like Passionate Amber. It's quite passion free. It's quite nice. Anyways, cheers for watching guys, hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, see you soon. Cheers.